everyone. This is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. And my guest today is Ariane Poole. Ariane is a celebrity and a professional makeup artist and has worked with women all around the world to help them to look their best and feel their best in their 60s. Hi, Ariane.
Hi. It's so nice to see you.
It is great to have you here back again because we've obviously worked together in the past, and it is really great to see you. Love your hair. It's a little darker.
It is. I've got a little bit more red. It's all about reinventing yourself.
Yes.
Not every single day, but, every so often, I think it's a good idea to sort of clear out the old, bring in the new.
Absolutely. Well, I've got new hair too. I've got short hair.
I love the new hair. I think your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you. Well, we're reinventing, as you said. But, we both have a love of makeup. We've talked about this before, and just how it can be used to accent the parts of you that you'd like to, make it look a little different or a little more fun. And we've all got...
transformational, can't it?
Absolutely.
Somebody who never knew that they had whatever color eyes they have. If you use the right eyeshadow, it can bring out the color, and it can just... wow. That's
absolutely.
It. Cause that wow effect.
Well, we have all, however, got these.
Yes.
Makeup bags that are like, full of stuff. And so I would love your advice on how to detox this.
Okay. It is very important to go through your makeup bag every so often. I don't mean every single week or anything like that, but I would say maybe once a year. You can, it doesn't have to be, at any specific time. And look at it. The things that you maybe have not used in ages. So if you've got anything in there, you can show me those. Anything that doesn't have a lid on it.
Right.
Okay. Anything that is like crumbs when you open it up, it's crumbled because you've dropped it or it's just broken in your bag. Anything that's got a strange smell to it. I know that you laugh.
No,
I'm not.
I don't think there's anything that smells in my bag, but I can imagine.
But it's absolutely true because sometimes a mascara will have a funny smell to it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes one of those kind of pens, the highlighting pens. I won't name names.
My lip liners get dry.
Yeah, they dry. All sorts of things can happen. So if they're not sort of, looking fabulous or even great, and they may not be doing you any kind of great service either.
And I guess mascara too, we all know this and we've heard it all our lives. It basically gets very, it can be dangerous because germs, as you keep putting it in and out, germs get onto the brush and that can create you eye problems.
Absolutely. And if you've got any kind of sort of cold sore or eye infection, don't use an eye product if you've got an eye infection. So if you've got something like conjunctivitis or something or a sty, I would say leave off the eye makeup, wear dark glasses.
Actually, that's a really good point though, Ariane, because I used to get cold sores a lot. I don't do it. It's not so much anymore, but would you say that if you do have a cold sore that you should not use the lipsticks, or can you just clean the lipstick? Because some of those lipsticks are very expensive. And
what you should do is get something like a little knife or a little toothpick even.
Just slice it off.
And then just take a little bit off the top. Okay. Because what's happening is if you're using a lip brush, what you're going to do is you're going to contaminate because you're going to use it on the lips and then back onto the tube, on. So you're going to contaminate it that way. If you're doing it straight from the bullet, if you're taking it off, you don't know that you've got it all off.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that you can't wear the product. It means that the way you're going to wear it, the application technique is going to be a little bit weird. Right. And what I would suggest is if you scrape a little bit off and then use a cotton bud to apply it or a Q-tip to apply it, then you'll have what you want.
All right. So you're giving us some tips. Okay. So you're giving us some visual tips, things to look for if it's falling apart, if it's crumbling, if it smells. What other things should we be taking out of our makeup bag?
Something that we haven't used in ages. So even if you've spent a lot of money on it, if you've maybe only used it once and never used it again, gift it to a friend. Okay. I'm not saying share makeup, but if you bought something and it's a powder product and you never have used it, or you've used it maybe one time and it's in perfect condition, gift it to a friend. Because we do, let it go. Very good. Yes, I know that's a song that you like. I heard it today, actually, funnily enough.
But sorry, go ahead.
Because all it's doing is it's taking up space, weighing down your bag, and not leaving room for something new to come in. So there's something I've learned. let it go. Something new will come in that will serve you better.
Well, and the thing about let it go is actually applicable to women over 60 in general, because we tend to carry these little bags around with us. Makeup bags is maybe just a symbol. And so, letting things go. I have a question for you. I mean, my makeup bag isn't too full, but I do have a lot of lipstick. And I think some people maybe collect lipsticks and blushers. And what's your thought on that?
Well, when I see somebody who has more than 2 or 3 lipsticks in their makeup bag that are all the same color or the same hue.
Yeah.
Same thing is with a blusher. If they've got several blushers in there and they're all similar colors, what that indicates to me is that they are looking for a color and they're not getting the color that they want. So they need to address that so that they only have 1 or maybe 2 colors in their makeup bag. If you have like 3 colors in your makeup bag, one's a pink, one's a beigey kind of brownie color, and one is a red, hey, that's fine, because you're doing it to change the look with your wardrobe. Perfectly fine. But if you have 5 lip colors all in the same kind of color, say it's all in a sort of dusty rose color, I know that you're looking for a color that you see in your mind, but it's not translating to when you put it on your lips.
Right.
So it can be a number of reasons. It could be your lip base is pale and is changing the color. It can be the pH in your lips that's changing the color. It can be just how how the color goes on to your skin. There's numerous reasons why this happens. But what it is when I encounter somebody like that, I had a lady that was like that with a blush. She had 5 blushers, all almost identical colors.
Yeah.
And they were sort of this peachy apricot-y kind of color. And I knew what she wanted to achieve, but because she changed the color of her foundation, I knew that that's why she was struggling with the blush. She wanted a peachy color blush, but she changed the colors more orangey or more yellow in your skin. So she made her foundation go orangey. So those peachy colors were going really orange on her, not the color that she was looking for.
Yeah.
So I gave her a pink blush, which she just looked at me as if I had lost my mind. She put it on and it went coral. She said, that's the color I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I would have never have chosen that. So all of those 5 blushers went in the bin.
So those were detoxed. But the same thing happened with me, and I know we've talked about this before, is I actually did find my lipstick eventually, and it's this one here. And it is, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see, it's coral. It's a corally color. But when I put it on my lips, it turns pink.
Yeah.
And that's always what I looked for, is a lovely pink, rose pink. But I would never, it was accident that I found this one. So.
Well, the reason why that is, Margaret, for you is because you've got a blue base to your lips.
Yeah.
So anything that you put on is going to go bluer than it is in the tube. So if you chose that rose color that you really like and you see in your mind, you put it on and it would go too blue and it would not be flattering. But a coral color turning a little bit bluey will come to that really gorgeous pinky color that you like. So so that's a really good indication. So if I'm going through someone's makeup bag and I see that they have loads of the same product, it can be eyeshadows, it doesn't matter what it is. It can even be foundations. It can be whatever. If they've got more than a couple of them, I know that there's an issue. And then I address that issue. And that's what's important. So as soon as I look through someone's makeup bag, which to me is like, I'm not psychic. I can look at it and go, you're having a problem with your foundation or you're having a problem with lipstick. Tell me what you're looking for. It's you've given me the information, even though you subconsciously didn't know that, or consciously you didn't know that, subconsciously you did. So it's really interesting.
Okay, so one can stay in your bag, 1 or 2 or 3 colors, different shades, but the rest can go.
Yeah, you don't need that many.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you, which you have taught me about before, Ariane, which is the new products that are coming out. You say make way, let it go and make room. Yeah. Tell us a bit about these new formulations and things that we should have in our bag.
Okay. I just did a makeup lesson for somebody about a week and a half ago, and her main concern was her skin was looking really heavily made up. Well, when I went through her makeup bag, the foundation she had was an old-fashioned formulation. She had had it for a while. She should have gotten rid of it prior, but she was using this very thick formulation and it wasn't giving her the results that she wanted. She didn't even have the colors. So she had 2 colors that she was mixing together. So she was putting a lot of effort into not looking and feeling that she looked the best that she could. So the lighter formulations are fantastic. They're lightweight. They've got good coverage. They're nicer to your skin. They tick all the boxes. They make you look more radiant. They're not heavy. They don't weigh your skin down. The same thing that's just with foundations, but there's BB creams and CC creams. There's also concealers that are much more lightweight and more flattering to your skin. So if you've got something that you've had for ages and every time you use it, you think, I don't really like this, but I'm going through the motions, which is what this woman did. You need to say, give it up, let it go.
There's something better.
There's something better out there. And I showed her something better and she went, wow, I didn't think my skin it could look that good. She even went and showed her husband. He went, wow, you look really good.
And, there's some things that never were in existence. So there's new innovation. So, for example, you showed us the eyelash curler that was a heated eyelash curler.
There's heated eyelash curler. There's things like primers. Primers have also come into a big fore now because they serve a purpose. So you may not have a primer in your makeup bag, but that's really the missing key. Because, sometimes there's just that one or two things that are missing in there that could pull the whole look together and make it just fantastic. And it could be something as small as investing in a primer or getting a new foundation. It could be tiny. With this lady, all I did really was change her foundation. I introduced her to a newer foundation, a primer, which is why I'm saying it. I left her eyeshadows. She had eyeshadows that she really liked. They looked good on her. Why change something if it's working, it's ticking all the boxes? Another lady, I did a makeup lesson for a journalist, and I have never seen somebody with so much makeup. She had tons and tons, but we were going through it because they had broken lids. There was one thing, I can just give you a demonstration. This was one of her pencils because I saved it because I knew that we were going to have this talk. Watch. I'll do it in slow motion. Okay, really? I don't think you need to be using this. I'm trying to shove it back in now. I can do that. But do you know what I mean?
But we do hold on to things that, either we paid some money for or that we didn't. One thing about detoxing makeup bags, because to be honest with you, I don't have that much makeup and I actually have done a detox. Yeah. And I actually get it down to maybe 10 items, and I just count them out, primer, cream blush. My
makeup bag is this big.
Tell me what's in it. Tell me what's in your bag.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to show. It's okay if it's secret.
Okay. No. I've got a concealer. I've got a lip pencil. I've got one of my shimmery eye shines. I've got an eyeshadow pencil that I use as a pencil and as a shadow. I've got an eyebrow pencil, which is not one of my ones because I don't do an eyebrow pencil, but it's really nice. It's Charlotte Tilbury one, really great. My powder, just for my under eye face brightening powder. Like I said, concealer and a lip color and mascara. Sorry.
That's nine things.
Nine, and a blush. Yeah. 10. Like you said, 10.
Yeah, 10 things. And no one knows the secret of you because in one of our previous videos, you did a session on rosacea and you have got very high color in your skin. So you mentioned concealer twice. So I think maybe you've got two concealers because I've
got a concealer which is what I've got on at the moment, which hides the so hiding.
No, it does.
I've got a little bit of blush on, but hides the redness. And then I use the Mineral Pen concealer to brighten up underneath my eyes to lift my face. So I do have two concealers. You're correct.
Yeah. So what you're saying really though is that if we've got, it gets back to if we know ourselves and we know what colors we like and we know what our skin type is, that we don't have to experiment that much. Our bag really can have 10 items in it.
You don't have to have a big, huge bag. Where you might want to add a few things is if we were going through the transition times. So what are transition times? Transition times are when we're going from the Christmas or the party season into spring. It's not quite spring, but it's not, it's not, you've
out of winter,
but you've left the Christmas thing behind. So you might want to say, oh, you know what? I really need that brighter lipstick for that pastel-y lipstick or that whatever color lipstick or eyeshadow from spring. So I want to put that in my makeup bag. And then when we go into summer, then you might want to get rid of the winter stuff and add the summer, like your bronzer or something like that. So it's a motion, constantly a motion of moving along. So you're taking out, that doesn't mean you're throwing out. So for example, when you're finished with your winter makeup, it doesn't go in the bin unless it's finished or it's got broken lids, etc. You have it so that you can use it because most of the things last for at least between a year to 2 years. So you don't.
Okay, that's actually longer than I thought. I would think, I mean, mascara, I think they say to replace every 6 months or so.
Yes, that is true, because most women use it every single day. If you do not use your mascara every single day, you don't have to replace it quite every 6 months. Play it by ear. When it's lost its pop, you know that thing, let me just grab a mascara here. Did I bring the one that's lost its pop? Yeah, see, this one's nearly done. I don't know if I can hear that.
Oh, you mean when it doesn't do that anymore? There's nothing really there except dusty.
Yeah. And if you do this, like pump it, you're going to pump air to it, and you're going to make it go away much quicker. So you're going to don't pump, because you'll pump air into there and you'll dry it out a lot quicker. So then you will have to replace it quickly.
So that's a tip that I wasn't even expecting. That's a bonus tip.
Yeah, so don't pump it like that. Yeah. It doesn't load more onto the wand. It doesn't do anything. This is how it comes out. It comes out. If you want to make your mascara, say you're coming to the end of your mascara and you've only had it, say, 3-4 months, and it's just drawing out a little bit because you have done that. What you can do is put it into a cup of boiling water, closed, of course, like a cup of water like that. Okay. And it will warm it up, and then you'll get a little bit more wear out of it. You'll get a few more applications.
Great.
There's certain products that you can keep for a little bit longer. Most things have a little label on the back, but I have to say, how many people know the exact date when they bought this particular product? Now, unless it was a memorable occasion, like it was your wedding or your child's wedding or, birth of a grandchild or something, you're not going to remember the exact date. You might not even remember the exact month that you bought it. So, things like that do. So most things, creams tend to last between a year and 18 months. Anything creamy. Anything that's powder can last up to 3 years.
Okay. This is really good advice. And I think as you've been talking, I've just been thinking about the trend that a lot of women in the community talk about is the simplicity. Yeah. That as you get older, we try to simplify our lives. Yeah. And I think that by the time we get to be 60, we probably tried maybe 20 mascaras, and we know the one that we like. Yeah. And in fact, it makes it simpler to go shopping, because you really do know what mascara you like, what bronze, what primer you like. And, you can simplify and detox that makeup bag almost like an ongoing basis.
It is. And can I make it, if you're somebody who uses brushes, I would suggest cleaning your brushes at least once a month. Okay. I have come across so many ladies who never clean their foundation brush or their eyeshadow brush. And then they say, I've got this rash. I think I'm allergic to my foundation. Well, heck no, you're not allergic to your foundation. You're allergic to your brush, because your brush is breeding bacteria. And every time you're putting bacteria on your face. So please, I know you don't have to wash it every single time you use it like I do when I'm doing it for someone else, but please wash it at least once a month.
Advice from Ariane, Dr. Ariane. No, these are great tips for detoxing your makeup bag, and I really appreciate your advice. And I'll make a list of all these things to toss and things to keep in our article that we do with the video. So thank you so much, Ariane. Thanks for your time. Thank you.